career-high 9 3-pointers, a career-high 35 points. As I mentioned, number 33 subbed out of the game when his team was up 33 points. I like those random little number connections. And he becomes just the second Blazer in the last 20 seasons to have 20 or more points and a half on a perfect shooting percentage from the field since Rudy Fernandez did so in 2011. So just a wonderful night for Toumani Camara. Blazers outscored the Nets 35-30 in the first, 34-21 in the second, which is where they really grabbed that big lead and never looked back. Fast break points was 13-9 in favor of Portland. Points in the paint, 50-40 in favor of Portland. And the second chance points, 14-11 in favor of Portland. And it wasn't just Toumani Camara who had a massive game. Donovan Clingan was great. 7 points, 15 rebounds, and a season-high 7 blocked shots. Just one off his career high. Biggest lead of the night for Portland was 38. The biggest lead of the night for the Nets was 4 when they led the game for Zip. Taking a look at the individual box scores, Josh Minot, he had 15 points for the Nets, 16 points from Zaire Williamson. Nick Claxton had 10, 11 points from Jalen Wilson. Chaney Johnson had 12. Tyson Etienne had 18 and 10 from Ben Seraph. On the Blazers side, as we mentioned, 35 points from Toumani Camara. He ended the night 10 of 12 from the field. 5 points from Sidi Sissoko, who started in place of the injured Jeremy Grant. Donovan Clingan had 7 points, 15 boards, 7 block shots. 11 points for Drew Holiday. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Denny Avdia. Chris Murray had 16 off of the bench. Scoot Henderson, 13 points. So you look at that and you're like, yeah, it wasn't a massive day scoring-wise for him, but he did have a season-high plus 28. And I really liked his first half where he only had just a single point, but was a team-high plus 17, meaning he was definitely getting good use out of the minutes that we were seeing from him. And in the end, the Blazers took care of business. They out-rebounded the Nets 45-32, and they had 8 block shots, 7 of them from DC, and also 8 offensive rebounds. So it was just a great night for the Blazers. Glad they were able to put it together, and quite frankly, glad Toumani Camara was able to have an absolutely phenomenal performance. In fact, when you have a night that good, the media wants to sit down with you.
So, Toumani, first off, just your thoughts on your game tonight. Obviously, a career high for you both in points and in three-pointers made.
It was a good game. I caught a rhythm pretty early. My first one was a bank shot, but just stay confident, really trusting my work. You know, there's ups and downs in this league, and you just got to keep being who you are and trusting the process. And I feel like that's the biggest thing for me right now.
Yeah, you did the shrug right from the start too. Like that usually comes later on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes some of these bank shots they feel good, but you know there's something weird about them. So when you see going bank, like it's all about reps still. I still trust it. So it's going to happen, though. It's part of it. You shoot so many shots throughout your career, it's going to happen. So, did you think about maybe not taking any more shots? You were 9 of 9 and 8 of 8 when you set your career high, and then you kept shooting. You ruined your perfect night, but you kept going. Yeah, I didn't ruin. We won the game.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true, yeah.
There's no ruin on that part. No, I mean, I was feeling good out there. I want to hit one of them damn Lillard logo 3. You know, that's what I was trying to do, but. You know, it humbled me a little bit. I'm not ready for that yet, so we'll see.
I love that from Toumani Camara there. He wanted to hit one of those Damian Lillard logo 3s. He did. It was the ultimate heat check. He pulled up from the logo. He didn't hit it. If he would have hit that shot, let me tell you what, I think Moda Center might have blown the roof off. The fan base would have went crazy. But it was a wonderful night, and I loved his answer right there when Casey asked him about missing those 2 shots late when he could have had a perfect night, and he just kind of laughs. He's like, "But we won." So it was a good night. It's always a good night when you get a W and you have a career night. 35 points for Toumani Camara. Can he do it again tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks? We will find out here in just a little bit. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, you can follow me on social media at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can send me all your questions and comments there. And, of course, you can go to the text line. 88528 is the number, or youtube.com. Just type in Rip City Radio. What a game. We got plenty of Rasheed Wallace talk. Glad we got that. Rudy Fernandez out there. Again, I didn't think I'd ever get a game day and get a fifth quarter where we had, Rudy Fernandez talking. It was topical. Man. I love it. Blazers Hoops right here on Rip City Radio. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to head down to the press room, hear from head coach Tiago Splitter on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We are here for the Coach's Corner. We're just waiting for Tiago Splitter to get to the podium. As soon as he does, Brendan will pod that audio up and we'll take a listen live at the pregame presser. Get an update, see if Jeremy Grant will be playing. He was listed as questionable. Blazers have been without him for a few games. They could use his scoring, get that back in the lineup, and then, of course, just power through. Keep playing well. That's what we want. Keep playing well, right? Get a dub. This is, air quotes, easiest homestand of the year. Got to take advantage of it tonight against Milwaukee. And they don't have Cam Thompson. Damian Lillard light. It's a deep cut for some of you who pay attention on social. Oh, Cam Thompson's just Dame without the contract. Bucks, we got a good one. Then they cut him. Don't know what the issue is there. Obviously some behind-the-scenes stuff coming, but got to figure it out. So, all right, Brendan tells me Coach is making the walk to the podium. Let's listen.
How's Rob?
Rob is in, yeah.
And being able to look at the game from Monday, just things you can carry over into this one.
Keep getting better offensively, staying connected, play with each other. Defensively, be the aggressor there, rebound the ball. This team love to shoot 3 points, and they're pretty good at it, so we got to be, ready for it, contest those shots, and rebound the ball.
Tiago, what has it been like for you to kind of evolve with Donovan this year, as far as like how you get him involved in the offense? And there's been a pretty sizable uptick in his rim rolling attempts, his finishes around the rim. How do you kind of evolve through the season and kind of mature his offensive game?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have some preconceived ideas with players that, they cannot shoot, they cannot finish, and you just want to see it, and see how he develops. And just gave him freedom, honestly, and pump him up to see where his games goes. And he responded. I think he's getting better. He's not there yet, but he's getting better. Being strong with the ball, finishing around the rim, even, sometimes using a couple dribbles to get to a better position. The three, of course, is still a developing thing. He's shooting more and more and is being more consistent. But, not going to lie, there's moments that you say, well, stop that and let's swing the ball and all of that. But, you got to be patient. It's just a lot of our guys still developing. So it's really hard to cut their wings sometimes to win now. You got to give them a little bit of slack and let them develop and see where is their ceiling, because sometimes you don't know. So I think that's the tricky part with a developing team, right? Like where you cut their wings, where you stop, hey, don't do that, do that. So it's a little bit of experiment where you see the guys flourishing in front of you, and DC is one of those cases.
You were big in the league. What are the things that are the steeper learning curves for him that he's starting to pick up on a little bit more, that you're maybe noticing a little bit more now?
I think just the strength. I think his body, he's a 7'2", 7'3" guy, and his body is not full developed yet, right? So you can see moments where he loses his balance, and those are the moments like, you got to stay balanced, you got to be stronger, you got to work, at the weight room during the summer, and it's going to be not just 1 year. This is going to be like a 3, 4, 5 year progress. But you can see that his body compared to last year, because of course I wasn't here, but just watching some clips and some pictures, there's a big change. Also to be able to play 35, 38 minutes some nights. So that's a big plus.
What have you thought about his rim protection and his interior defense? He had 30 blocks this month, I believe most he's ever had in a month. It seems like that part of his game has also really elevated this season as well.
Yeah, I think he's always been like that. We changed a couple of things in our scheme defensively to try to keep him more under the rim, just to make that even flourish even more, his rim protection. And I mean, he's really, protecting the rim for us and being like, the enforcer there for us.
For those of us that haven't had a chance to see you guys regularly, that relationship between Drew Holiday sort of as a mentor with a guy like Scoot Henderson, a younger guy in that backcourt, what has that been like, and what kind of growth have you seen perhaps from Scoot? I know he's been injured for a lot of the year, but kind of having a chance to learn under a guy who's been around as much.
Well, I think Drew, helped everybody, not just Scoot, right? Like even Danny playing at a point guard position. But Scoot has been out most of the season. He's coming back now, the last, 20 games, whatever. But he's just, he had the luxury of watching from behind and see what we do and then get ready to perform and see in first hand there in the court with Drew, with Danny, and being aggressive. But just getting back to your question, I think Drew is a tremendous human being. He's either going to help us, with big shots, big plays on the court, but when he's on the bench, he's also encouraging his teammates and timeouts, talking to them, leading them, practice the same way, film sessions. He's the first one that I, ask, hey, Drew, what do you think on this play, on that? So, that leadership is very valuable.
Any other questions? Good time.
Thanks, Thiago.
And there you hear from head coach Thiago Splitter right off the top. Jeremy Grant should be a go. He's out warming up right now, so that's a plus. And then, as you heard there late, pretty complimentary of Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan deserves so much credit. This time last year, we were, he needs to get out there. He needs to play more. And, he's only cardio was an issue all year long. And he can't play. He can't be on the floor. He can't play more than 12 minutes. And I was very much the guy who wanted him out there, even if it meant he was going to get burned, because I wanted to see him in those situations. And I remember getting in, plenty of debates. Oh, you want him to be out there against a small lineup where he can't defend? Like, yes, I want him to learn to be in the NBA and play those minutes. And right now, it's what he's doing. He's learning from these situations, and now he's getting to the point where the cardio has never been in question. Not once this year. Playing 35 minutes a night, 36-minute nights, 38-minute nights, and it's fine. Doing what he needs to do. And having great nights, too, defending the rim. Last game against the Nets, 7 block shots. And might have had more if the game didn't get out of hand and you had to sub him out. In fact, I wish the ref would have read the room a little bit. He would have had number 8, but they ended up calling an offensive foul on Brooklyn. They're like, no, I wanted that 8 block, tied a career high, and that would have been great. 7's still wonderful, best of the year for him, and just he's been so good. He's been so darn good. I get texts all the time. Oh, is he him? Has he arrived? Look what they got. It's like Chad said earlier. We're talking about the jobs Joe Cronin's done. That draft pick of Donovan Clingan looks pretty good, doesn't it? He's been wonderful. So big shout out to him. And then you got a little bit of that taste there of talking about Drew Holiday, kind of being a mentor and teaching Scoot some stuff. And I think Scoot's been good. Yes, he has had ups and downs since he's been back, but Scoot is what he is right now, and he's definitely an NBA player. And I loved that game against Brooklyn because when he wasn't filling it up with the typical box score stats, but overall was having a wonderful game, and you could see that by the plus-minus. Now, plus-minus is not all indicative of how good a game was. There are some people who use it as the end-all, be-all. Sometimes you can have a negative box-minus and still have a good game, depending on how things were shaken out. I thought that game was wonderful, though. It really showed how effective he was in those minutes, despite the lack of points. He only had 13 of them and assists and all that stuff. So keep growing and keep getting yourself in the right spot. Find a way to play your best basketball at the right time and use this homestand to do it. You got a chance to get another victory here against Milwaukee. Then you have Dallas and Washington left on this homestand before an absolutely crucial matchup with the Clippers. And you still got a chance to get to that 8 seed, which changes a lot for you heading in to the play-in. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you'd like to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up with the text line, 88528. Or one of our texters just says, Rudy who? Sergio who? Bums. Nah, Sergio Rodriguez, Rudy Fernandez, legends. I think Rudy Fernandez is also a player before his time. the way every single team's pushing tempo, letting threes fly, running up and down the court. Oh, man, prime Rudy and this NBA would have been fun. I loved Rudy. He was great. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look around the NBA scoreboard, see what games are impacting your Blazers today. We're also going to take a look around the NBA in general because some pretty big news, some things going down that not only impacts your Blazers here locally for all you entertainment watchers, and, of course, it's going to impact how things go down travel-wise for your Blazers in the future. What am I talking about? Travel? Yeah, I'll let you know when we return here on your home of the Blazers, River City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Looking ahead to this game tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. Chad Doing will have the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network in about a half hour. Hopefully he'll be joining me here in just a little bit as well for our keys to victory. Now, Blazers aren't the only team playing tonight. Who else is going and taking the hardwood around the floor, or around the NBA, excuse me? Who's taking the floor around the floor? Come on, Burkhardt. Act like you've been here before. Regardless, let's hit that intro for the scoreboard report. All righty, let's take a look around the association today, see what is going down. First off, with 8 minutes left in the third, the Hawks have a 75-71 lead over the Detroit Pistons. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third. The Lakers taking it to the Pacers, 82-63. 7:40 left in the third. The Bulls trail the 76ers, 87-66. Halftime in Boston, 53-49 lead for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Minute left in the first half. The Miami Heat lead the Cavs 57-38. And at the end of the first quarter, the Spurs have a 38-19 lead over the Grizzlies. Those are the only games in action right now. Coming up later today, you have Washington at Utah, Houston at Minnesota, Dallas at Denver, Brooklyn at Golden State, which that one is going to be an interesting one to watch. Golden State should win that game, but boy howdy, that injury to Moses Moody is nasty. Prayers up to him. Hope he heals up quite fast. And then you have Milwaukee here in Portland, and then you also have another big game going down at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles as the Toronto Raptors will be taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. That is the game you want to watch tonight as the Blazers enter tonight just a half game behind the Clippers for the 8th spot. Meanwhile, they have a 1.5 game lead over Golden State, who's currently in 10th. So Nets at Warriors, Raptors at Clippers, 2 games you're going to want to watch tonight. This NBA scoreboard report is brought to you by McCour's Vancouver Toyota. If they live by the slogan, we make it easy. Check out their inventory right now at VancouverToyota.com. All right, there is some very good news going down around the NBA, and I told you a lot of it has to do with the Blazers. Some for entertainment reasons, some for travel reasons. It's time to talk about it. Let's take a look around the NBA. First off, we got to talk about the now. We knew it was happening. We knew it was confirmed, but we got to date the Jail Blazers Untold Story coming out on Netflix. I am hyped for this, a chance to hear from Bonzi and Damon Stoudemire and Rasheed Wallace and all those players and the media who covered it. And it was a very interesting time in Blazer fandom. It's wild. The Jail Blazers, they came by that nickname for good reason, the multiple stops and brush-ups with the law. But still, for a lot of us, that was a very integral part of growing up as a Blazer fan, and that team is still a team that we all love. And I think it was Eric Gunderson talked about that. He hopes the doc does the team justice because that team was still loved by a lot of young kids. Maybe the adults understood what was going on and were getting really irritated, but the kids that are now adults like me loved it. I loved Damon Stoudemire. I loved Rasheed Wallace. Obviously, you love Arvydas Sabonis, and thought Bonzi Wells was cool. And you hear the stories, and they start getting in trouble with the law, and you're seeing them on the news. But you're still young enough where okay, they're doing some bad things, but they're still my favorite basketball team because go Blazers. And there's just something about that time that sticks with us. Yes, the Jail Blazer era was bad for a lot of reasons, and that's why a lot of people still hold Brandon Roy in such high regard because it felt like he was kind of, the guy who helped the Phoenix rise from the ashes and end the Jail Blazer era for good. And now you got a team here right now with a bunch of great guys and guys you can root for, and that might not have been the case during the Trailblazer era, but it was still, again, it was still a big part of the Trailblazer story. Still a lot of people who loved that team, and a lot of the guys on it. Like I said, I'm a Rasheed Wallace fan for life. He's still my favorite Blazer of all time. People remember those playoff series, and obviously that darn Kobe lob to Shaq will be forever burned in our brain negatively. Or the Memorial Day Miracle and Sean Elliott. Oh, my gosh. Thanks, Guy. But those teams were wonderful, and I'm looking forward to this documentary. It's something that Damon Stoudemire hinted at in an interview on local radio a decade ago. And here we are. I finally get a chance to watch it. Now, that's not the only NBA news, because it was also voted on today, and Arshawn Eichen, that's why he's not here. He was down there for those meetings. But the NBA Board of Governors approved a vote for league to explore bids and applicants for expansion teams exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. Sources tell ESPN a bidding process is expected to generate offers in the $7 to $10 billion range for each team. This according to Shams Charania. So, yeah, that's been approved, and now they get to explore expansion. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's happening, because you still got to go through the process and figure out if you have buyers and a viable option for a team. But not only is it something that they're going to look at, they have their two cities dialed in, Las Vegas and Seattle. And I think Adam Silver said it might be one, it might be two, it might be none. We'll see what happens when the dust settles. But, again, growing up as a Blazer fan, like many of you, and some of you are too young to remember, but most of us do. The I-5 rivalry, the Seattle Supersonics coming down here and Portland going up there. And it was one of those things, like I like the Pacific Northwest as a whole, like I feel like we stick together. Like the Pacific Northwest, you're proud of it. It's all one. But you have a rivalry with Seattle. Portland's always in Seattle's shadow. So if you have a Major League Baseball team eventually, if the Portland Timing Project works, you know there's going to be a natural rivalry there with the Mariners. The rivalry between the Timbers and the Sounders is one of the best in MLS. And now the fact that you might be able to get back one that you loved here when it came to hoops in the Northwest between the Blazers and the Sonics is really flipping awesome. And as I said, it makes travel a lot easier for the Blazers too, because you're going to add two teams, one of whom they can bust to if they want, and another one is a quick jump. It's not flying all the way to Miami or New York or Boston or any of that. So that's going to be important for the Blazers. And then, of course, the only thing that will matter after that is who's the team that moves out east, because you're going to have to move one team to the Eastern Conference to balance it out, likely candidates being New Orleans, Memphis, or Minnesota. Regardless, looks like it's a matter of when, not at this point, not if, the Seattle Supersonics get back on the court. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you our keys to victory, what the Blazers need to do to get a win over the Milwaukee Bucks. And then we'll pass the baton over to Chad Dewing, who has the Trailblazers pregame show starting at 6. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt, here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. It's time for us now to tell you what we think the Blazers need to do to get a victory here against the Milwaukee Bucks. It's time for our keys to victory. All I know is Brendan can't wait for this show to be over. The next gen operating system and the board might end up in the Willamette. There is a chance that could happen. We shall see. But that's not the conversation. Yeah, that's not the conversation we're here to have. We're here to tell you what the Blazers need to do to get a victory against the Bucks. And quite honestly, I like what they did over the last few games. Obviously played well on that road trip. And you look at that game against Denver, I loved the way that they came out firing in that first half, kind of proved that they could get an efficient offense, that they could stick with one of the best offensive teams in the game. The unfortunate part was just the fact that, that Denver has unlimited weapons and just kind of ran past them late. But it did show that they got something to work with, and then I thought they really put that together again against Brooklyn. Now, they didn't come out as fast and as furious as they did against Denver, but they still put together a really, really good game. I mean, Toumani Camara is not known for his scoring, but the fact that he was able to go out there and hit those 9 threes and the team was able to get out to a 38-point lead at one point in the game is very good. So that's the good, and that's what you need to do. Just keep getting the ball into the hot shooters and let everyone build off that and just find your offense within that. I still want to see Denny Avdia do less looking for the foul, but still playing his game. Just get to the rim, drive, push the tempo. He's been great at that, but there's a couple times in that game against Brooklyn where he was definitely looking for the foul, and sometimes it resulted in a no call and a bad shot, and other times it resulted in an offensive foul where he veered into the defender. So just play your game, get to the rim, and let what happens happens. You're too good to need to look for those fouls. And then, lastly, you can't do what you did against Brooklyn again. I don't care if this is a Milwaukee team that, again, isn't as good as, is not as bad as Brooklyn. They are still without Giannis, and they are still an NBA team. And you have to be prepared and you have to be ready. You cannot go out in the NBA and continue to have 24 turnover games. That's just egregious. I mean, you have added 7 onto your season average because you already turn over the ball a ton at 17, which is crazy. Going out and having 24 turnovers and still winning a game by 35 points is, yes, something you can look at and go, that's good. I like that because the offense was able to roll. But you can't like the fact that they turn the ball over so much. It's just not conducive for victory in the long run. You got to be better. Chad just came up here. He sprinted. Funny enough, because I heard him talking about running marathons and stuff early. But I'm just talking about tonight against Milwaukee, Chad. This is still an NBA team. They're not a great team with all the pieces they're missing. But for me, I just want the Blazers to go out and not turn the ball over 24 times again.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I was talking to Tom Habistro on Monday before the Nets game, and I said, dude, what is it going to require the Blazers? What must they do to handle business over the next 4 games at home against these teams focused on lottery position? He's like, limit turnovers. And then they went out and turned it over 24 times, and thank goodness they were playing a really bad team in the Nets and the Blazers on top of that shot the ball really well. You can get away with that against the Nets, but the Bucks, here's the best way I can put it. They should win, and they're heavily favored to do so tonight, but the Bucks are not the Nets, and if they make the same type of mistakes, meaning they get off to a poor start, or a slow start, or they're not connected defensively in the first half, and they turn it over a bunch of times, and they miss 12 free throws, they're going to be in a dogfight, and you want to avoid that. So again, I just care about how the Blazers are playing. I thought, even though they won by 35, I thought it was one of their worst play games on Monday, and I want to see a better effort tonight.
Yeah, you got to be locked in, you got to be ready, control the ball, do those small things, and like I said, I think they'll be fine. But Milwaukee is not great, but they are much better than Brooklyn. You can't make mistakes.
There's no question. And this is not rocket science here. These teams, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Dallas, and the freaking Wizards, they all stink to high heaven right now. So you've got to go out there. If you handle your business and play the game the way that you should, in the 5 key categories I gave out earlier today. Your approach, how you start games, making free throws, limiting turnovers, offensive rebounding, and staying connected defensively, they're going to be just fine. And if you handle these games that you should win, that puts you in a position to where you can focus on the 2 games against the Clippers, and you got the 2 tough road games at Denver, at San Antonio.
Absolutely. Hey, fun fact, you know that Jim Carrey is the first actor to have 3 #1 box office movies in the same year?
What were the 3?
It was 1994. It was The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber.
They're all great, too. Gosh, you had me cracking up all as I was walking down to Section 113. I was just quoting Ace Ventura 2 in my head, and I loved it every single moment.
My goal for you is when you do like your scoreboard ins or whatever, you need to get some references in and see if you can get Travis to jump on too. So.
Oh, and he will. He's down with those. Chicago.
All right, get back down there. Run quick. Chicago. Chad, you're out of here. Go on.
Hey, remember me? I'm the loogie guy. Why aren't I the popular one?
I love it. They come out of the hut all laughing, just covered in like, oh my gosh. Oh, so bad. All right, music means it's time to go for me, not for you. Chad's got to bounce. He's got the Trailblazers pregame show across
Would
the
you
Trailblazers
like me to just
audio
take your
network.
pants off?
Yeah.
Gee, let me
He's
think.
trying to throw me off my game. It's not going to work, though. And then we got Blazers Bucks. Tip off at 7 o'clock, Travis Demers on the call. And, of course, when it's all said and done,
Yes, I have one right here. It's bulky, but I do consider it carry-on.
keep it locked in for the 5th quarter where hopefully we're breaking down a Blazers victory. Bumblebee Tuna. Bumblebee Tuna. We'll talk to you after the game.